teacher efficacy, teacher quality, proficient teacher, smart teacher. When we say these teachers, and basically the teachers are teachers with teaching skills. So teaching knowledge and teaching skills are basic of who they are, because they prepared to be a teacher for several years and became certified teachers. So they got the certification. That means they are teaching professional. They know how to teach and what to teach, right? So teacher efficacy is just a basic they must have. However, what I see this teaching, because since the modern society, we have more diverse learners and more child variables. So variables, diverse learners means it's a spectrum of children with learning capabilities. It does not matter their, nature, nurture, all those factors and effect, it does not matter. Because school education, we did not make a structured school education under parental support. School education is structured to teach children, no matter what kind of children we have, what disability they have, what difficulties they have, what variables they have. We must be able to teach without home nurture and parental support. Obviously, children comes, 30 children came to school. That means 30 different parents behind them. Because those 30 different, direct caregivers raised these children, influenced these children, so all these home nurture effect they bring, that's a diversity, and that's a diverse learners and child variables. So we do not consider their background. We have children, all kinds of children, so we have in schools, and these teachers are certified and became teaching professionals to teach these children, right? So when we say, okay, this is a very smart teacher and good teacher, these days we have a very lack of good teachers and smart teachers, because we have more diversities and the spectrum, wide spectrum of children's variables. Therefore, we have a teacher could teach 30% of children in their classroom successfully. So their 30% of children became instructional level, independent level children. Some teachers could 50% of children being instructional level, independent level. Some teachers could teach 70% of children being independent and instructional level. And some teachers 90%, some teachers 100%. These teachers' capabilities and abilities really truly, no matter what diversity these children have, they could teach. The most difficult diversity is their cognitive learning, cognitive capabilities, not parents, not home, their genuine cognition. So attention is their cognition. Visual perception is their cognition. When children have a visual attention, visual perception deficiencies, they cannot learn to read, because all our letters, sounds are all just shapes, right? Lines and curves and circles. So their visual perception, visual attention is like a visual acuity, visual focus, visual tracking. So when they don't have those, they cannot see straight line, slant line, top, down, left, right. They cannot see it. It's not visual sight issues. It's a cognitive eyes. So they don't see it. Of course, they cannot do sensory discrimination, visual discrimination, right? It is very difficult to teach even using phonics, decoding skills. So that's a cognitive part. That's how we could have those intellectual disabilities and learning disabilities. The question is are those visual attention and visual perception deficits are remediable, shapeable? Yes, because cognition and intelligence are fluid. It's fluid. It's a human brain functions are fluid. Teachers work on that. That is more like, opening the cognitive gate, remediation of those visual attention and visual perception. Opposite, when children have a visual attention and visual perception deficiencies, they cannot learn. So when we talk about teacher efficacy, those smart teachers can identify if children do not learn as expected, children cannot learn as expected, these smart teachers can go down those cognitive functions. Why these children cannot do mental processing, cognitive processing? Is there any conscious sensory inputs have any issues? Visual perception deficits means it's not eyesight. You see, you can process, right? So that's what teacher efficacy means. These teachers, really smart teachers and good teachers, they can find the children what prevent them from learning, what inhibits their learning. They can find those cognitive parts, they can remediate those parts to read, to teach. So these children can teach in 90% of their children or master their kindergarten years early literacy. 100% of children, they have 25 children, 30 children, they can teach them. If they truly understand this sensory processing and what visual attention, what visual processing means, and they study about it, what's the problem is, and then they shape and remediate those deficiencies. Okay. The sad thing is, it's not their impairment. Sadly, they could not develop those functions as a nature programmed way. They did not develop those. It's not their fault. It's just a little bit different functions. So that's why we have teachers. We have teachers to do that, and then we have special education teachers to do that. Okay, so instead of say learning disabilities, we say learning deficits. Okay, well, disability is a disability. It's not impairment. It's not learning impairment. It is a disability. So it's not permanent damage they have, but we cannot touch it, right? We can make those disability, we could transform that one to ability. Again, once you know those visual perception deficits and visual attention deficits, those concepts you know and you can study about it. And then you can work on it. You can develop your own instructional sequence and curriculums. And I'm working on that curriculums because special education, we do not have we don't have any standard scopes and sequence of what special education should work on. So it's not academic remediation, because children, once they have these labels, we have to work on their cognition. Okay, sensory processing disorder is not only oversensitivity and they're screaming, they could not digest those sensory inputs. It's not that. We are overemphasized on oversensitivities. We have many children under sensitivity. They have sensory arousal issues and attention issues. And autism is the representation of those under sensitivity. However, general children with any learning issues, learning delays, they could have a sensory processing. That sensory means a sensory inputs, sensory information processing disorders. That is a sensory discrimination disorders, sensitivity disorders. So we have to work on this for them to learn about, work on this literacy, early literacy, and to read. Okay.